So now that the Merkava is finally out in the wild, outside of the hands of the content creators of War Thunder, it kind of begs the question, is this a vehicle worth purchasing? Because if you waited up until this point to start grinding, I'm sorry to say, unless you start dishing out a little bit of money over in the marketplace, you're not really going to get too far, unfortunately. Sure, maybe you can get the first two vehicles, but the Merkava itself, probably not in this time frame. So with that being said, I'm here to talk to you guys to see whether or not this vehicle is worth the purchase, because my guess, and again, I know I'm saying this way too early, but my guess is it's going to be anywhere between $60 to maybe $80 on the Gaijin market, and I want to tell you guys whether or not it is worth the purchase. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with any of my content, I did make a review video talking about the Merkava Mark.3D, although I did miss out some details. I'll go ahead and kind of skim through it right now. And what you're currently seeing right now is also some gameplay of the Merkava Mark.3D, which was completely separate from my current audio right now. So yeah, it might sound a little out of context with the video, but don't worry about that. It's just for background noise. So with that still being said, the Merkava Mark.3D. Now, this vehicle, which was, of course, introduced in this current event, is the top reward vehicle for Operation Strategy, or Strategist, I think. I like to call it like that. I don't know if it's really named like that, but it's this Strategist event going on, which is a very tedious grind that requires quite a bit of time, more so than actual, I guess, effort towards certain things, if that makes sense. Not like the previous events where you had to look for certain modules. No, all you have to do is just dedicate time to it, and unfortunately, much like myself, I just don't have too much time to grind for this thing. So even myself, I'm looking to see if I have to purchase it from the market, seeing that I would rather Gaijin just not outright give it to me, because that would be very unfair. So moving on from that a little bit right there. Now, the Merkava Mark.3D, it is a battle rating 10.3 vehicle, and it is a very unusual vehicle at the higher tiers because it's very tall. It's not too fast. It has very good firepower for the most part, but its protection is almost on par with that of, say, the M60 AMBT. I know I like to compare it a lot with that vehicle, but not without good reason, okay? They're both event vehicles. They both have tremendously powerful shells that handle really well. They both have zero armor to pretty much speak of. Yeah, it does have some composite and some good angles, but let's be honest here. Sabo rounds, especially the Mango round from the Russians, can and will go through that thing without any sort of issue, or in my old phrase, like a hot knife through butter. Now, when it comes to the overall mobility of the vehicle itself, it does go, of course, 60 kilometers an hour going forward, but it has a 10 kilometer going in reverse, making shooting and scooting not really efficient, as opposed to, say, like Leopards or Abrams for that point, but it does make for some very tedious moments, and this is what I like to consider a very situational vehicle, meaning you kind of have to use that sort of speed advantage to get into very tricky places, maybe some edges of the map or centers of the map, just to get yourself into a comfy position to engage, because this thing cannot brawl very well. And take my word for when I say, the moment you get shot at, if your engine doesn't go out, your gunner will for whatever reason. And thankfully, I haven't really experienced ammo detonation. It might be because of the whole fact that the munition is kind of surrounded by what I've been told, composite or Kevlar or anything for that matter. It does show in the X-ray view if you take a look at it, and it really does save the tank quite a bit from being detonated, believe it or not. And yeah, like I said, I've rarely experienced that at all. It does have the M322 shell, which can penetrate up to 625 millimeters of base pen at a flat angle, and pretty much drops off from there on out once you hit the 30 and the 60 degree, but it is still amongst, if not the best shell in the game, on par with the CL3143. So you're going to be having a platform that has a very good amount of firepower that can almost one-tap everything it does shoot at. However, Russian tanks are incredibly trolly with that driver's port and everywhere else for that matter, so I wouldn't exactly rely on just having the low pen round for it. Just again, try to be smart about where you place your shots, if that makes sense. Outside of that, I still predict this vehicle to be around anywhere between 40 to 80 Gaijin coin on the market itself. And one of the biggest things you have to understand that a lot of people just don't seem to really understand, but they need to, and here I am saying it in this video, is the vehicle is an event vehicle, a gift vehicle, not a premium vehicle, meaning that when you unlock it, you unlock the ability to research the components for it, if that makes sense. So it's basically like any sort of tech tree vehicle where you go in there, you have a stock heat FS round, no parts, no FPE, no tracks, no Sabo, no thermals, nothing for that matter. You are playing with a bare bones stock tank, and you have to go through that suffering that is going to be 10.3 with heat FS, which does not work out too well, especially against a vehicle, say the T72B3, which is designed almost everywhere to stop heat FS. and take my word for when I say you're gonna have a very hard time fighting against that thing. So my advice is, you know, parts FPE, run for that Sable round. That's probably the biggest thing you want to go for. Mobility parts and stuff can kind of wait, in my opinion, though to each their own, of course. But outside of that, it can still handle its own pretty well for the most part. Just don't expect it to survive too many good hits, and play very smart with the vehicle itself. So now I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain to you guys why I went for the vehicle and why I'm still grinding for it, even though I have a pretty heavy-handed schedule outside of War Thunder itself. Now, one of the bigger reasons why I enjoy this vehicle so much is because I have a, I guess, a historical buff for the Merkavas. I really like Israeli tank designs and how they use them in historical context. And in the game itself, it doesn't really fit too well when it comes to that style. However, it's still fun to have a very unique vehicle nonetheless. This is an event vehicle. It's a rare vehicle. It's not a vehicle you can just earn. After this event is over, you are going to have to purchase this vehicle or become a content creator and ask Gaijin nicely for it and see if they give it to you. But that's the only two ways I see you getting that vehicle outside of this current event. And so to me, it is a collector's piece, and it's something I want to go ahead and earn myself and cherish for as long as I play War Thunder. Outside of that, other players might be using it as a grinding vehicle, which in my honest opinion is really not the way to go about it with the Merkava Mark.3D, because it's a gift vehicle. It can only research, I believe, tier 6 to, or tier 5 to tier 7, I think it was. I haven't really looked at the stats on that bit right there. So it's not like, say, the Leopard L44, which can grind all the way from tier 1 to tier 7 in one shot. So that's something you have to keep in mind when working for this vehicle itself. Now, if you're gonna be that person who sells it on the market, understand that there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of these vehicles out there, which may lower the price. Remember, supply and demand will be in effect for the marketplace as well. Outside of that, the other reason why I deeply enjoy this is because it does have that really good shell type M322 round, which is very destructive, and I know how to use it very well. Outside of that, it's honestly the only thing I really want about the vehicle. It's rare, it's unique, and it has good firepower, and it fits incredibly well with my current top tier lineup from 10.3 to 10.7, so it just fills up that lineup very nicely. All right, so yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think. Is this gonna kind of help you maybe purchase the vehicle? Do you want to get it? Do you not want to get it? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below, guys. And let me know how you enjoyed this event. Did you really hate it? Were you burnt out from it? I know the Mexis event just ended not long ago, and in all honesty, I'm kind of burnt out myself, but you know, the fun never stops for me anyways, or so I like to think anyways. Yeah, so feel free to let me know, guys. And if you guys want to catch this normal gameplay live, you're more than welcome to check out my Twitch channel. Link is down in the description below. And yeah, feel free to let me know how I did. This is the first time I ever did something, or I've ever done something like this, where it involves me just sitting here kind of talking to you guys, as opposed to talking about, you know, a vehicle, playing it, getting my reaction to it, etc. So yeah, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys not only in War Thunder itself, but I'll see you guys in the streams and the next videos as well. Until next time.